Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
More catchy than the 877 Cars for Kids commercial. It's the Ham Talk Live theme music. Good evening, everyone. It's Ham Talk Live, episode number 201, Frat House Ham Radio. Recorded live on Thursday, February 27th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we're joined by Maxwell Zines, WM4TH, and we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week on the show was episode number 200, and we took a look back at some of the favorite moments of the first 199 episodes and gave away a bunch of fabulous prizes. If you missed the show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or YouTube, or you can catch the rebroadcast on WTWW 5085 AM, Saturday evenings at about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, I apologize for the voice. The voice is holding up, but barely tonight. Been under the weather for a few days, and just kind of trying to get this all cleared up and bounce back, but we will try to talk with Maxwell here, and he'll tell us all about his fraternity's ham radio station. So if you have questions, just give us a call. And if you're listening to us live on Thursday night, you can give us a call after the interview's over. We'll talk to him a little bit first, but I'll give you the phone number so you have that ready to go. It's 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373. You can also tweet us if you'd rather type than talk. You can tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. And I'll be back with Maxwell right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Hey, honey, have you seen the PL259s anywhere?
No, I haven't. Come on, kids. Let's go.
There's just one place to go for all of your connector needs.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
A giant warehouse of connectors and adapters for every occasion. Thousands to choose from in every shape, size, and color. And they have antennas, soldering supplies, cables, meters, and more. Where do you go if you want to buy a connector at a fraction of retail cost?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
And this weekend only, take advantage of our special liquidation sale. Buy 9 solder-type PL259s, get the 10th one for just 1 penny. They make great Christmas presents. And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a PL259?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Hi, I'm Scott Cole, KB9AMM, president of Tower Electronics. I like the company so much that I bought it.
Tower Electronics, coming to a Hamfest near you or online at pl-259.com. And we're in the yellow pages under Amateur Radio Connectors.
My, wherever did you get that lovely PL259?
Tower Electronics, pl-259.com or call 920-435-2973.
Do we sell PL259 connectors?
A clean house is a sign of a broken radio. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Thanks to Scott and Jill at Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show once again tonight to help bring Ham Talk Live your way each and every week. Hamfest calendar for them coming up March 7th. They'll be in Cave City, Kentucky. And then March 15th, they'll be in the Toledo area in Maumee, Ohio. And then April 18th up in Wisconsin, back home for them, toward Madison, though. In Stoughton, Wisconsin, April 18th. So you can visit them if at any of those Hamfests, or you can visit them online at pl-259.com. Maxwell Zines, WM4TH, is a freshman at the University of Tulsa, currently pursuing a triple major in mathematics, electrical engineering, and physics. His passion for radio came from his dad, who also got an early start in ham radio. His dad had his advanced class as a teen and has always been a passionate tinkerer and taught his son well. He taught him a lot of the technical skills he uses in the fraternity's ham radio shack today. Maxwell and his dad also share a great enthusiasm for the technical side of electric guitars, and so Maxwell spent a great deal of his childhood listening eagerly as his dad went through the circuitry in the guitar amp and explained what each vacuum tube and sub-circuit did to the signal to convert it to sound. All this inspiration led him to continue studying the tools of figuring out electronics and brought ham radio with him to college. So Maxwell, thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
It's great to be with you, Neil. Thank you for having me.
Oh, sorry, I had to clear my throat again there. Well, we've seen, actually, we picked this up on Reddit, and my friend Joe Fitter, K7JOE, who is the faculty sponsor at the Indiana University Amateur Radio Club, sent me an email and said, hey, have you seen these guys on Reddit? And, they've set up a shack in the fraternity. So tell us all about the ham radio club there at the fraternity and how that all started up.
Well, sure. So, as is common with the fraternity men, we really like to keep up with what everyone is doing. We have a chat where we just like to keep each other up to date with what's going on in our lives. And actually, earlier last semester, when I was going to take my exam to get my technician's license, I just put it in the group chat, hey guys, wish me luck. And when all was said and done, at the end of the day, 5 of us went home with our technician class tickets. So really surprised there. What I thought was just kind of a friendly shout. At the group chat ended up turning into something a lot bigger. And what we've actually turned this into is a great opportunity to put forth our volunteerism. Volunteerism is a concept that every organization at our school holds in really high regard in consideration of being allowed to operate on campus. Especially the Greek organizations take a lot of pride in organizing community service events. The club station, it actually started as a unique way to satisfy our fraternity's volunteer quota. We, especially as tornado season approaches in Oklahoma, are hoping to get a lot of time working with MCOM. We also really enjoy planning radio-related STEM activities, outreach programs, because we have a great deal of teachers and organizations, STEM organizations in Tulsa, who are reaching out looking for engaging, fun lessons and plans. So we really like to share that with them as well. Moreover, our club really serves as a common ground in our fraternity. We have a lot of guys. Most of us are engineers or student engineers. All of us, every single one of the 5 of us, have a tie to either electrical or mechanical engineering. So we love the design aspect of this hobby. We love building antennas and fixing our equipment. That's really what sells it for us.
So we haven't even mentioned the name of the fraternity, so I guess we should do that. And then you've set up the shack there, and you said you've got 5 others that just went and took the test with you. So that's your club?
Yes. So we're the Sigma Nu fraternity at the University of Tulsa. And yeah, absolutely. So we started actually as 5. We were the first 5 to go take the test, and we have a wealth of material. We've written a lot of college-friendly study material for this exam so that we can have the rest of the fraternity and hopefully other people in the school, once we get our club growing, to take the exam. We've got 2 people planning to take their technicians next month.
Very cool. So you guys have just been getting on the air from time to time and just kind of kicking back and making a few QSOs, or have you got into, contesting or anything more serious than that, or QSO parties or anything like that? Or are you just, every once in a while hop on the band?
Well, truth be told, we're pretty limited in what we can do just by living in a fraternity house, living on campus. One of our biggest considerations is housing. They don't like antennas. We've tried every which way. I've been told to take it down every time. So we're running about 50 watts average on single sideband, about 10 watts on CW. For the most part, we just love to sit in my room, pop out our quick 5-minute antenna, we call it, before campus security notices, and see what we can do. We work a lot of local guys, really, really friendly. They've been super welcoming, given us a lot of tips, really encouraged us to keep going with it, which has meant a lot. But we're chasing our first DX right now. We're trying our best. We designed an amplifier. We're hoping to build it soon. That'll help a lot too, but we're working towards our DX right now. No contesting yet. Again, hopefully the amplifier will help with that once we get it designed and built. But right now it's a lot of local rag chew and chasing that first DX.
Wow, very good. Well, the antennas are always the challenge, and I'm looking at moving and getting a new shack built with tower and a beam and everything, and even then the restrictions on property, oh my goodness, it's been a nightmare trying to find some place that will allow antennas, and university campuses are even worse. So I wish you luck on that, and hopefully you can get that worked out. And I know you're working with the university to actually make the club an official university club.
That's our hope. It's been going really well so far. That what started as a friendly thing in our fraternity, we really do want to grow it because we see this excellent opportunity to get out there and help the community, volunteer, especially as tornado season comes about in Oklahoma. We'd really like to see some fellas get their technician, get their general, and help us out in the field.
Well, tell us a little bit about the equipment that you use, and this 5-minute antenna. Let's hear how you can put that antenna up so fast and be able to use that. And I understand Dad helped out with a rig.
He did. So our base rig is a Kenwood TS 940. That's all modes, all HF bands, and a big old beefy trans match that sits on top of it. So that's much more setup than our antenna can handle. The antenna itself is definitely a challenge. We're working with a lot of restrictions in terms of structures and maximum permissible exposure to different radio waves and whatnot. Our shack has one window that points out right at a well-trafficked sidewalk, so we're pretty restricted in that space. We can't send a lot of power out. We don't have a lot of space to build out, so we just built straight up. We've got a big old PVC tower. It was the thickest, strongest PVC that $100 could buy at our hardware store, and we taped a dipole to it. That's what we're running right now.
It's called improvise. So you just put the PVC tower together and then tape it up, or can you leave part of it together, or how do you do that?
Well, so it's about 10 pieces of PVC. They all fit behind my bed when they're not in use, and we have a hand-sketched plan for how it all goes together. It's pretty structurally sound. We had the mechanical engineers of the club help us out with it, but it's about 20 meters tall and holds a 40-meter dipole on top. We really did design it so that we could assemble it in my room, place it outside through the window, and then have it telescope upwards. That way, if we get any complaints, if we need to take it down real quickly for whatever reason, that's possible to do. It takes about 5 minutes. It's our 5-minute antenna.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good plan. Now, I noticed that on this Reddit post, excuse me just a second. Okay. I noticed on this Reddit post that we were looking at, and actually I sent the picture out on social media there of the station. Someone had asked the question, so we gotta ask it. So, what do the sorority girls think about the station?
We've gotten some puzzled stares, especially when we're setting up and taking down the tower. Our window points right at sorority row. So whenever we put it up, it's no secret. Everyone can see it. Aside from the puzzled stares, the benefit of going to a smaller school is that, between the 5 people who serve as the core of the club, we know most of the sorority girls on a friendly basis. We've certainly not gotten any rude comments, anything like that. They're very, very engaging, very interested in what we're doing. We have friendly conversations about our tower and our station, what we're doing. But really, the main struggle is justifying it to our girlfriends. I think part of the antenna sleeps in the bed with me just because that's how it all fits. So most of our time is actually spent justifying our hobby, our passion to our girlfriends. They none of them are sorority members. They're just really good people who like to hang out, and we try to get them on the air too as third-party traffic when we can. I had my girlfriend call into a repeater once. Not her thing, unfortunately, but they're really supportive. They're good to us, and so are the sorority girls.
Well, that's always good to have some support. So, and who knows? Maybe you'll convince some of them to get into ham radio. So, tell me how you got into ham radio.
Well, my dad was instrumental in that. As you mentioned, he had his advanced license when he was my age. Back when he was my age, unfortunately, the technology was a little bit different. His transceiver was a big old tube number. Unfortunately, just not feasible to take to college with him. So he let his license expire as he was in college. Luckily, he actually ended up picking up the electric guitar when he moved away, and he started taking an interest in guitar amplifiers and guitar effects pedals. And that's a passion that he's shared with me. We spent a lot of time when I was young building guitar projects. The first thing we ever built together was a tremolo pedal for him to play his guitar through. And under his supervision, especially as my skills advanced, I graduated to building tube amplifiers, actually. My curiosity for amplifier circuits led to my foray into amateur radio. And luckily, unlike my dad, I actually was able to take my passion to college. As I mentioned earlier, I've got that nice solid state rig. It's about 40 pounds, packed real nice into my car. So I was able to take it to college with me. The antenna's still a struggle, but we're doing the best we can. And with that smaller rig, we're able to keep up in college.
Well, I hope you can continue to grow and progress and get through some of the red tape and get a more permanent arrangement set up. But I think the idea of the fraternity having its own station is also pretty cool. That you guys can just hop on one night and kick back and make some contacts, and that's a pretty cool thing to do. And I'm sure that it ties into a lot of what you're studying.
Yeah, it really does. So we've got three people right now that are tied into electrical engineering in some way or another, and we have fun just coming up with the wackiest antenna designs and testing them, seeing how they work, benchmarking them, building them in MATLAB, and that's what we like so much about this hobby. It really supports the maker attitude and the idea that you can build and create. We love that. We really do. And as student engineers, that's something that we hold in high regard.
Well, I think it's good too that you're doing this together with your fraternity, with your colleagues, because I'm involved with bringing the Youth on the Air camp to the U.S. and one of the big fundamental core values of this is that peers are teaching peers, and I think that's something that a lot of times we miss. Is we can't always have an older person just show up to a university and say, hey, how would you like to do ham radio? That's probably not the best approach. And I think if you all kind of work together and help each other, you said right away you had 5 people that just went and took the test with you just on the spur of the moment. So I think building those relationships just fits into the whole fraternity thing, and you can make even more relationships through ham radio. And I think that's a great approach and a lesson that a lot of people can take away from what you're doing. So, all right. Well, we're going to take a break, and then I'll come back with Maxwell, and we'll take your calls and your tweets about fraternity ham radio clubs right after this word from ICOM America here on Ham Talk Live.
Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multifunction backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion, as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at 1 kilogram or just over 2 pounds, with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz, and a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall. It runs 5 watts with a battery, 10 watts with a power supply. It has sideband, CW, AM, FM, and full D-Star functions, a micro USB connector, Bluetooth, wireless LAN, micro SD card slot, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger, and the speaker mic comes standard and supports QRP operations. The perfect accessory for your IC705 is the optional backpack, LC192, with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or just a day in the park. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
You're listening to Ham Talk Live, the most popular podcast with the words ham, talk, and live in the title. Here's your host, Neil Rapp.
Be sure to visit ICOM America at icomamerica.com/amateur. And be sure to visit us here at Ham Talk Live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it's time for your phone calls now. Excuse me here just a second. All right. If you have a call for Maxwell or question, give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the phone number to call is 859-982-7373. Or you can tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. And if you're listening to us on WTWW or on the podcast edition, sorry, it's Thursday night right now and we're live, so you won't be able to hear us and call in and ask questions. So, Maxwell, while we're waiting on some calls and tweets, let's talk a little bit about getting students more involved in ham radio. What are some of your ideas of how you can get more students involved?
Well, I think especially with my generation, the 18 to 22 right now, when they try something new, it's because they heard about it from a friend. A lot of social media sites have taken off that way. Pretty much anything is just by word of mouth. And when I got into ham radio, I noticed that it was because it was something my dad shared with me. And when I was able to convince the 5 other guys to take the test, it was because I said, hey, let's do this. So, I think the biggest, most important thing is just spreading awareness, especially using people our age, ham radio operators that are my age. The best thing you can do is share it with your friends. Let them get on, make third-party contacts. It's really cool, and it's something to be shared. I definitely think so. And also, for everyone that's more passionate about the technical side of the hobby, ask your local schools if they're looking for lesson plans, because we've actually been reached out to by different organizations and also reached out to quite a few organizations for lesson plans and ideas for talking about radios and the electromagnetic spectrum. That's all stuff that they need to teach, and this is a great hands-on way to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely a great way. I use it in chemistry when we're talking about electromagnetic spectrum and that kind of thing, and do some demonstrations. And while, I said something about, some of the older ones, just showing up and saying, hey, how would you like to do ham radio? That's a way that you can be older and kind of help mentor. Is you get the stuff ready, you get the plans, you get the ideas there, and support with the gear and the equipment and that kind of thing. But also, there's a role in mentoring and helping out and passing things along. And you've had an experience with that, just even on the local repeater, getting your handheld set up. Absolutely.
Mentors have been a big part of what we do. When we just got our technician tickets, we were pretty much clueless. We had the HTs that we bought on Amazon, really pretty much thrown into deep water. And as we started figuring out how to connect to repeaters, we had a lot of guys say, hey, your signal's weak. Are you holding your antenna upright? Are you outside? Is it line of sight? And, hearing those guys be patient with us and give us step-by-step explanations and troubleshooting as we try and get our signal strong. It really means a lot, and it keeps us engaged. As we get frustrated, as we have our equipment fail on us or call CQ with no response, hearing those people, give us those tips, give us that troubleshooting, that mentorship is really what keeps us going and allows us to stay engaged in the hobby.
And I think you've got some in particular you wanted to mention.
Yeah, absolutely. So, really, really friendly guy. Ron comes on the local repeater, and he was instrumental in getting me up and running. As I was connecting to the repeater and saying, Whiskey Mike 4 Tango Hotel, listening, he was pretty quick to get on and say, hey man, your signal is, it's pretty weak, it's a little bit noisy. Are you sure that your antenna is pointed upright? And at that time I didn't know about polarization, so I was just holding it, kind of lazily in my hand. So I pointed my antenna upright and pretty much instantly got better reception. And from his words, better transmit too. So Ron especially, but really everyone on that repeater has been so friendly and so good about getting us on the air and making sure that we're doing everything right.
Yeah, mentors are always good for, getting some pointers and getting some help, and that's a critical role as well. While, a lot of your peers are working to help, kind of spread the word and get into stuff, you need those resources. And I think that may be a bit of a shift in how we do things, because a lot of times the approach is, hey, I'm here. How would you like to do ham radio? How would you like to take another test? And that may not be the greatest introduction to that. But then, when you're interested in it and you're doing some things with it, then that's kind of the time when some of the experience can step in and say, hey, okay, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And get some pointers and get things improving and learn from their experience. So it's a bit of a shift in how we do things sometimes, but I think it's been effective.
Absolutely. My first piece of radio equipment, if you will, was a WSPR receiver. I know that another member of our club, his first was an SDR, software defined radio. And the fact that you can get those inexpensively and they allow you to experiment with so much of what holds true with the HF bands too, antenna design and filtering, that's a really great place to start. And you can get an SDR online for $20 and at least get receiving. So that's a great option. That's a great way to get started, hands-on.
If you have a question or comment for Maxwell, give us a call right now at 859-982-7373, or you can tweet us at Ham Talk Live on Twitter, and we'll be here for a few more minutes, so give us a call, 859-982-7373. So we mentioned a little bit about, you're trying to work with the university to try to get the club organized. And I've been through that process before, and many have. And some people may not understand some of the process of getting that. So can you talk a little bit about how that's gone so far and what you have to do to make that a possibility?
Well, surprisingly enough, getting the club declared an official through the FCC has been a lot easier than getting it declared an official through the university. The FCC, requires 2 signatures, whereas as I've started asking around at the university, seeing if there's a greater opportunity for us, there's been requirements such as finding a club sponsor. That's been a big one, but also just finding a place to meet where we can put our antenna up, have all our gear, our our base transceiver is 40 pounds, so finding a place where we ideally can set up our station without having to lug that big thing across campus. Just all of that, all the logistics have to come together, and it's been a struggle, but we're working towards it for sure.
And you've got some professors that are doing some RF work already.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got an RF class at our school. We've actually got two enrolled in that right now.
2 have gone through it.
Yep, 2 of our club members have gone through that class. So that seems like a great place to start. Also approaching that professor to ask for help with designing those antennas that'll work from our dorm room. We've got some really good leads, and it seems like we're on a pretty promising track to getting this official, or at least supported by the university itself.
And, one thing we haven't even mentioned, your club call sign. So you do have an official club call sign for the fraternity.
Yes, KI5HSS.
Okay, and where can people find you guys typically, and when?
Well, so I try and get on every night, at least a little bit. I've got my antenna, build it, put it out the window. I've been trying real hard to get those long distance contacts. I've been pretty much just going with the QRP operation, but to the best of our ability right now, without an amplifier, calling CQ on 20, 40, 80, and seeing what we pull in.
Okay, very good. Well, listen for these guys, and you can find them on the air and kick back and get a nice little QSO with the fraternity here at the University of Tulsa. So, Maxwell, thank you so much for coming on the show and for telling us all about your setup. It's very interesting, and a lot of people don't know some of the challenges of making that work in college when you have all these restrictions and rules that you have to go through, and you're getting a good start on that early since you're a freshman. So, maybe before too long you'll have all those bugs worked out, and you'll have a more permanent antenna and can do even more, and we wish you the best.
Well, it was great to be on with you, Neil. Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone who's listening. We love to talk about this. We could go on for hours, so it means a lot to be here and sharing our story.
All right, and who else do you have? You've got some of your fraternity brothers and club members in the shack. Who else do you have here with you tonight?
Yeah, right here, right now. I've got Cameron, Willie, and Cameron here with me tonight. KI5HJN, KI5HJO, KI5HJQ.
I'm HJP.
HJP,
no, sorry, HJM. You're HJP, I'm HJM.
Right.
We have consecutive call signs, and so it makes things a little bit confusing, but yeah.
Yeah, I went through that when I grew up. I took my class with my dad, and everybody, kind of passed all at once. So we had WB9UK A, B, C, D, E, G, and H. And we're not sure how that one slipped in there, but but somewhere F didn't fall into the list. But yeah, that became kind of confusing. But 3 of them, or 4 of them actually, were in one family. So it was kind of nice on the QSL card. You just check the last letter. So that was kind of cool. Well, great to hear from all of you. Congratulations on the efforts, and wish you luck, and hope to hear more from you guys in the years to come.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Neil. Again, it was wonderful to be here chatting with you tonight.
All right. Well, that is Maxwell Zines, WM4TH. And that's going to be a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. Thanks to Maxwell and his fraternity crew there, and everyone out in cyberspace for listening. And I invite you back next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. For a list of our upcoming guests, just go over to hamtalklive.com. Oh, we do have a comment here. I'm sorry. Chris, A4CB, says he was introduced to ham radio in 8th grade, junior high school, and had teachers with a license, and even had a 2-meter repeater at the high school. So, but it's 32 years later now. So that changes. And that's another challenge is keeping things going. And I run into that at the high school club as well. 4 years, you have a new group of students. So that's always one of the challenges. And that's the same at the university. So hopefully these guys can get the ball rolling and keep it going. Well, I'll invite you back next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, go to hamtalklive.com to see the upcoming guests. And also want to remind you that the Young Ham Lends a Hand contest is still going on. Carol Perry, WB2MGP, is accepting nominations for that. Any young ham aged 19 or younger who has demonstrated some basic tenet of service and volunteerism can be nominated. It could be someone who helps recruit or mentor other young people, assists at local community events, or helps out with the elderly or military personnel. All nominations go to WB2MGP. That's Whiskey Bravo 2, Mike Golf Papa at gmail.com. Before the end of April, the winner will be announced at the Dayton Hamvention Youth Forum, and the prize is $100 for that young ham. And if you like the show, Ham Talk Live, please leave us a review. That helps us out as well. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.